Hello and welcome to Matt's Casual Cooking and welcome back to Greek Month. Today we are going to be making Pastitsio. It's a Greek beef lasagna. It's a very good meal and we're going to go over all the ingredients that you need today and how to put together and let's get to it.
All right, folks. So we're going to go over the ingredients you're going to need today. And just for your noodles, you're going to need a pound of macaroni noodles. And then you're also going to need one stick of butter. Now for your meat filling, you're going to need 2 pounds of ground beef. You're going to need at least two medium onions. And you're just going to want to chop them. You don't have to dice them. You're going to need at least 2 tablespoons of butter. You're going to need a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. You're going to need a cup of water, and you're just going to want some salt to taste. Now for your cream sauce, I don't have the ingredients out because they're in the fridge. You're going to need a dozen eggs, and you're going to want to separate the eggs between the yolk and the white portion. You're going to need a quart of milk, or 4 cups. You're going to need a stick of butter. And then you're going to need an 8-ounce can of Parmesan cheese. Now for your hardware, you are going to need at least a 17 by 11.5 by 2¼ inch pan. And we're going to have to grease that with a little extra butter. Now, if you don't have that, if you have one a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, I wouldn't necessarily say a 9 by 13 pan is what you're going to want because you're going to be really cramped in there, but probably something along that line. So we're actually going to go over and we're going to cook the meat first because that's going to take the longest out of everything. So we're going to get to that in a second, and I'll see you then. Alright, so as you can see, I've got my butter. It's going to start to melt here in a little bit, and I've got the onions in here. So what we're going to do is you just want to saute your onions. Now, you don't have to saute them a very deep brown if you don't want. You can certainly do just a kind of like a nice light brown, kind of going on the edge of really kind of caramelizing. You don't have to go too far. So go ahead and do that, and then once you're done, we're going to go ahead then and add in the meat, but I'll see you as soon as these are done. Alright folks, so the onions are starting to brown and caramelize very nicely, and I wanted to show you a quick thing I like to do is when I'm doing this, like if I've got a lot of them just kind of on one side, I'm trying to bring them more back to the middle. I just kind of like to lift it up off the heat, kind of shake it in a circular pattern like this. And what that's also doing is that's helped searing the onions a little bit and helping them brown a little bit more. And it also, as you can see, it really kind of gets them back into the middle as well. It kind of helps just bring everything back. So what you want to do now, though, is we're going to go ahead and add the meat. And once we add it, you're going to cook it until it's browned. And then once that happens, we will come back and get to the last step for cooking the meat. So see you then. Alright folks, so our meat is nice and brown, and what I've done is I've already added the water, so go ahead and add in your tomato paste. And then what you're going to do is you're going to stir this together, and you're going to cook this for about 45 minutes or until there's barely any liquid left. And then once you do that, we're going to go ahead and take it off the heat because we've got to put the cream sauce together and the noodles. So go ahead and add in your tomato paste and any other salt that you might want to taste while you're doing this. And then while you're having it cook, turn down to like I would say a low to medium for the whole time, and then you're just going to want to stir the mixture occasionally. So go ahead and do that, and I will see you guys in about 45 minutes. All right, folks, so right now the meat is about halfway through the timer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cook the noodles, and you just want to cook them according to the package. And then once they're done to your liking for this, you're going to go ahead and drain them. Now, once they're drained, you want to take that stick of butter I mentioned earlier, and you want to put it into the noodles, and then you're going to want to stir it around until it's done. Now, an easy way to do this, instead of just putting the whole stick in, is if you cut the butter up into those tablespoon portions that it is, and then put it in there and stir it around. That will help make it go a little bit faster. So then once that's done and the meat is done, we're going to go over the cream sauce, and then we're going to put it together and actually bake it. So I will see you guys as soon as everything's done. All right, folks, so our noodles and our meat is done. So now we're in the final stretch. So first we need to take our egg whites, and we're going to beat them to what they're called stiff. Now I'm going to show you kind of every step of the way, but you do really need like a hand mixer or a stand mixer for this, because if not, you're not really going to get it. So what you just want to do is just take whatever bowl your egg whites are in, and then just go ahead and do like a medium first, and you want to beat them until they are initially like a white kind of fluffy kind of texture. So go ahead and do that, and I'll see you at the next step. Alright, so right now you can see our egg whites are actually kind of white and foamy. So what we want to do now is we just want to keep beating this until you get a firm texture. So go ahead and do that, and then I will see you as soon as it's done. Alright, so our eggs are beat until stiff, and you can see it actually almost looks like a frosting, and you can tell it's done. Now mine's moving a little bit, and it's basically not really a liquid anymore. It's almost a frosting. So we're going to set this aside for the time being. So what you want to get out now are your egg yolks. Now we have our egg yolks here. So what you want to do is you just want to beat them slightly. Just until you don't want to beat them too much. It should only take with this about a second. So go ahead then and take your milk and just go ahead and pour it in. Alright, now go ahead and just combine this together really quickly. It doesn't really have to be a big thing. Just do it really kind of quickly. That's good. Now go ahead and unplug your mixer and take everything off. So now those stiff eggs that we just beat together, you're going to go ahead and take them, and you're actually going to mix it in here with the other egg mixture. Now what you want to do here is you want to take your foam or your stiff and just fold it kind of into the egg mixture and just combine it together until it's just kind of a nice combined as much as you can. So then once you're done with this, we're actually going to put everything together and bake it now. So alright folks, so before we go anywhere, we need to preheat the oven to 350 degrees, and we're going to be cooking it for about an hour, but we are going to check at the 45-minute mark to see if it's done. Now, part of the reason we did the foam last is because we're trying to save the foam to actually cook on top of the dish itself. So that stick of butter I mentioned earlier in the cream sauce, go ahead and melt it, and we're going to set it aside. And you do want to get out like a fork. Now go ahead and take half of the macaroni and spread it into the dish. Now my dish is kind of big, so it's going to be a very kind of interesting, probably definitely bigger than what I've got, but that's fine. As long as you get a nice covering, you're going to be fine. Alright, so now take half of that Parmesan cheese from earlier and just sprinkle it on here. You get a little bit more, I mean, that's fine. Just about half. Get some chunks just kind of, maybe shake this up a little bit better. Alright, so now take your meat mixture, and we're actually just going to pour the whole thing out on top of it. So go ahead and spread it out evenly on top. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take out the rest of the macaroni cheese. And we're going to put it on top and spread it out. Guys, I forget how big this pan is. Really was not quite enough, but if you have the smaller pan, this is all going to be covered, but this is okay. So then take the rest of your Parmesan cheese and just spread it on top. Now, we are going to take our foam with our egg mixture, and we're going to just spread it on top. Now, if it kind of congeals in one spot, just kind of take the foam. Now, you want to try to save as much of the foam as you can on the dish, because this is actually what is going to brown nicely on top. So this is, like I said earlier, this is why we're doing it last, because we're looking for that nice kind of egg foam sitting on top. So now, all you want to do is just take your melted butter and just kind of spread it on top. And now if you had a smaller dish and the egg was not able to get into the bottom portion with all the macaroni, you just want to take like your fork, like I said, to get out, and then just kind of push down in it and try not to pull up any macaroni if you can. But if you do, just kind of push it back down. I mean, this pan's kind of big, so all the egg mixture is getting all around. So we're going to put this in the oven. Like I said, we're going to cook for 45 minutes. We're going to check it 45 minutes, but if need be, we're going to leave it in for an hour. So I will see you as soon as the time is up. Alright, so as you can see, our dish is done. The crust is kind of nice and brown, but still a little, if you press down on it, still a little fluffy, but it's a very good tasting dish. So if you enjoyed this meal today and making it, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I will see you later for this month. So take care and have a good rest of your day.